Hey everyone, it's Chuckleseed back again with another unboxing. Thank you for stopping by. This week, I got a surprise delivery and I thought I'd share it with you all. This one's exciting. Today, we're checking out Niren Studios' 1/6 scale Levi Ackerman. Now, to my understanding, this is Niren's first attempt at 1/6 scale figures, but they've been making anime statues for quite a while now. So I translated the instructions through Google and left them here just in case anyone needs them. I recommend to follow the instructions just to prevent any problems. First impressions, this figure looks fantastic. The faceplates attach magnetically, which is a nice touch. Movable eyeballs. And each one kind of captures Levi's signature annoyance pretty well. Now I did notice a scuff on the nose on the base faceplate. Luckily it did come off, but I do wish they shipped it with a little more protection. Now detail wise, I'm pretty impressed because a lot of anime figures have a flat single tone for their paint jobs, but Niren actually added some highlights and shading, and I think it makes a difference. So the hair sculpt is pretty solid. They didn't just go for a basic mold. They sculpted the strands separately, and I think that added a little more depth. And there is flexibility to the hair, but I'd still be careful with it just to be safe. And this bleeding faceplate looks pretty badass. Now he does come with 2 additional sets of hands aside from the ones that he came with. And they look pretty nice. There's actually a lot of sculpting detail on it. Then here are some weapon accessories. And then some replacement parts. And then this looks like it's actually part of his ODM gear. Now speaking of ODM gear, it was packed a little tight in the packaging, so just be a little careful when you try to remove it, just to be safe. But it does look pretty cool. A little on the clean side in my opinion, but it looks pretty nice. Now I didn't know about this, but each segment has 4 blades, and each blade is die cast. I think that's a pretty nice touch. And then now when it comes to the Survey Corps cloak, it's pretty cool. There's a light wire running through the edge and the hood of the cloak, which is pretty nice. Now my copy did have an issue with the locking mechanism straight out of the packaging, but it did seem like an easy fix. I just had to fold it over. But I hope it's okay and it doesn't break in the long run. Now this figure does come with a stand and a standard crotch grabber, but this short king is pretty dynamic. I wish he came with a dynamic flight pole or something like that. But the stand is pretty nice because you can store additional accessories into it. So now just a little closer look at the head sculpt. Personally, I think the hair looks very nice all the way around, and it's kinda hard to distinguish where the faceplate ends in regards to the head sculpt. The faceplates swap pretty easily, which is nice. But I will say behind the left ear still looks a little rough to me. The right side doesn't look too bad, but I feel like the left side could have used a little more work. So just going over articulation pretty quickly over here. I didn't want to push it too much, but it does seem like he can get his shoulders up to at least a 90-degree angle. And then it's a double jointed elbow, but I do think that the fabric does kind of get in the way with his elbows. And I did test it a little bit. He does have some bicep swivel, but once again, I do think the fabric was getting in the way. He has some double jointed knees and some ankle swivel. It's nice that he has split cut boots. The thing is, I do think due to the design, I feel like there's not much maneuverability with his ankles. And I did want to touch a little bit on his weapon accessories here, because his weapons are pretty freaking dope. So the die-cast blades snap in and out, and it's very similar to how it is in the anime. As far as accessories go, I know the instructions are a little confusing. I found it easier to use a hairdryer to warm up the accessory ports. Then I plugged it into the back of the figure's plugs. And then I warmed up the strap to plug into the back of the ODM gear. And then I warmed up the other end of the strap to plug into the base. So finally, I ported the ODM gear into the leg peg, and this process worked out for me. I did want to point out that some of my ODM wiring looks like some type of electrical wiring. So on the positive note, it will be easy to replace if needed. And finally, I did want to share a couple height comparisons. So Levi Ackerman is supposed to be about 5 foot 3 inches. In a Google search, I found that Itachi Uchiha is supposed to be about 5 foot 10 inches. And this is the Rocket Toys figure next to him. In addition, here is the 3-0 Makima. And Makima is supposed to be about 5 foot 8 inches. So yeah, I do think this figure is a little tall. So next I do have Levi next to a couple dual-wielding sword bros. One of them is Cloud Strife. Cloud Strife is supposed to be about 5 foot 7 inches, but this is the Game Toys version. Game Toys typically runs a little bit large. But on the other side is Anakin from Attack of the Clones, and Anakin's supposed to be about 6 foot 2 inches. Finally, I have him next to Deadpool from Deadpool and Wolverine, and a Stormtrooper from The Mandalorian. Deadpool is supposed to be about 6 foot 2 inches, and an average Stormtrooper from The Mandalorian is supposed to be about 5 foot 11 inches. So my final thoughts, I do think the pros definitely outweigh the cons. I think the head sculpts turned out great. He has a wired cape. There's die-cast blade accessories. Overall, I think he looks great. And not to mention, it's Levi in a 1/6 scale format. That's pretty freaking dope. And now there's definitely room for improvement. I love the bleeding faceplate, but I do think it doesn't really fit because the rest of the figure is a little too clean. I do think parts of the faceplate don't blend in as well, especially behind the left ear. The figure does have pleather accessories, so who knows how long that will last. I do wish he came with fisted hands so he could at least do the Survey Corp salute. And based off of the size comparisons, I do feel like he came in a little taller than 5 foot 3 inches. But regardless, I'm very happy with this figure. So let me know what you think. Did you get this figure? Were you happy with it? Let me know down in the comments. But if you guys made it this far, thank you so much for joining me in this unboxing. So this is just a reminder to stay awesome, stay curious, and I'll catch you in the next one. Chuckleseed signing off.